There's two different sections of the orientation. The first one will take us up until about 6:15, and you will hear from parent and family programs. You will hear from academic and career success. You will hear about safety and wellness here on campus, and also living in community from a number of the professionals that we have across the university who are dedicated to your students' safety, their success, their general well-being. And before I kick it over to a familiar face to many of you, I just want to share with you a little bit of my own experience as not a parent of a college student, but I am a parent of a 5-year-old daughter. She is awesome, and she's one of my favorite people. And I hope that someday, what feels like many, many years from now, but in reality will probably only feel like 5 minutes once I actually get to it, when I'm sitting in your seat, she will still be one of my favorite people. And I know that I will be equipped with the tools to parent her incredibly, incredibly well when she goes through college, because of everything that I have learned just from being a part of this orientation process for you all. So I hope that's a word of encouragement for you. I hope that you stick with us for the rest of the night, and we appreciate your patience and your dedication to allowing your students to enjoy their orientation groups, and they'll be having dinner with their orientation groups, and they'll be heading to a night event this evening. So they have a full night ahead of them, and you guys have a full night ahead of you. So let me turn it over to someone who many of you know and love, Casey Maybin. She works for our admissions department and has worked with many of you already to help you prepare well for this day. So,
all right. Well, I'm going to be super quick, but thank you guys. So excited to be here. So thankful for the opportunity that I've had this last year to journey with so many of you. Some of your journeys started last August with me. Phone calls, emails. Some of you, I feel like you're my email BFF. I've never even met you, but I get an email and we correspond, and it's been really fun. And some of you, literally 10 days ago, you reached out and said, my daughter wants to come to GCU. Is it too late? It's not too late. We want you. So thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to just journey. You've made it. We can celebrate the million little miracles that have happened for every single person to be in this arena tonight. And it's just, I love hearing all the stories of how God orchestrated every single part of every single journey. And I'm thankful that we can rest knowing that He's got this, that our kids are known and loved by Him in ways that we will never be capable to know and love them. And so I so appreciate you guys. I will continue to be praying for you, I promise. My husband and I prayed for you this morning. This is a sweet journey. I have a daughter who's a senior here as well, and so I get all the feels. We were from Oregon, and so this was an emotional time. So you are going to be in great hands as my focus now shifts to the incoming class, the high school seniors. I have the wonderful privilege of handing you off to the most capable, amazing, beautiful, talented, energetic person that you will ever meet. My dear friend Robin will be up here in just a minute to share with you about parent and family programs. She really is the one who helped me learn how to navigate that first year away from my daughter. So I pray that I know that you're going to be on the edge of your seat listening to every word, and the entire time that your student is at GCU and well beyond, because you now elope for life, you will be served well by parent and family programs. So thank you so much, you guys. It's been such a pleasure. Please keep in touch. I'm not going anywhere. If you need anything, please reach out. Thank you.
I didn't time that very well. It's like, oh, it's over. Hello, you guys. Welcome. You are now part of the very enormous, large Lope family. So welcome, and you get to be part of all of that. I think as Pastor Tim said, this is not a goodbye. This is just a see you later, and there's going to be many opportunities for you to be on campus. I've been at the university. I celebrate 8 years on Friday. Half of that time, I worked in Res Life, in student conduct. And now these last 4 years, and now a little bit beyond, I've been in this role as Parent and Family Programs Coordinator here at GCU, and I absolutely love it. I am a parent with you. I'm highly, highly extroverted, and so every time I do this, I'm in my mind at a coffee shop talking to one of you. And I'm gonna get to know you a little bit, service level. So for those of you who have done this before, you've dropped a kid off. This is not your first rodeo. Would you please stand up and let me see you? I have to get below the lights. Okay, there's quite a few of you. Okay, now keep standing up. Now those of you that this is the last kid, and when you go home, that's just you and that's it. Would you remain standing? Oh, thanks. Okay, so those of you, look at these people. These are the people that are gonna give you some wisdom. And I am envying you right now. My husband and I, we can see the end of the light. Fantastic. Okay, now I want everyone who, if you are about a 6-hour or more drive away from campus, would you please stand up? Oh gosh, yeah. Okay, those of you who were just standing a second ago, these are the people that might need an extra little bit of love. Yeah, that's a good little bit away. Okay, thank you. Okay, finally, I would like those of you that this is the first time. This is your first student that you have brought to campus and that you'll be saying, see you later. Okay. Now, remain standing if this perhaps is your only. It's the first time and the only. Would you stay standing? Okay, so these are the ones we're gonna need to give a little, I just wanna hug you right now. Yeah. Okay, so we got to know each other a little bit. You got to see those around you. You know where we're all kind of coming from. So let me let you get to know, oh gosh, I don't like looking at that. Is this gonna work if I push it? Oh, I wanna go back. Oh, there they are. So these are my people. This is my nuclear family. So Scott and I have been married almost 27 years, which is crazy to think about. I married Scott Horde. He was a youth pastor in Dallas, Oregon. And then we moved to Visalia, California. Met someone from Fresno today. And then we moved back to Washington State and Tri-Cities. Hey, where's Sharon? Sharon, are you in here? There she is. This woman right here, we trained for my first half marathon along the Columbia River. And so she came here for a tour. She's like, Robin! So you got a shout out. So anyways, Scott and I have been now down in Phoenix for 15 years, raising our beautiful children. Samantha is 23, graduated from GCU. Ryan is 21. I'll talk about him a little bit in the panel. He's been in and out and in and out of GCU, literally. And then Jaden is almost 17, is driving a car now without other people in it. Freaks me out because he's very abstract random like his father. And he'll be here in 2 years. So that's a little bit about the Hordes. So what are you getting yourself into here at GCU with Parent and Family Programs? Well, you're going to hear me say this over and over again, but I truly believe it from the bottom of my heart. You all are our most important partner, because we know to serve your students well is to partner with you so that you know kind of what's going on here at the university with us, so that we always want whoever is teaching Sunday school or in the math classroom or youth group to kind of say the same thing that we've been saying to our students all along. We want to do that same thing. Okay, so we really stand on 4 big values. We pray for our students, we care for our students maybe a little bit differently, and then we serve and we give. So if you haven't stopped by yet, our table out on the Student Union Promenade, do so, because we'll get a lot of information to you about our LOPE family groups. We've got over 100 across the nation. Being here today is huge to kind of get a better idea about how we are going to care for our students over the next 2, 3, 4 years together. And I just want to tell you right now, I'm not an expert, and I'm not here to tell you how to parent your student. You know that better than anyone. But if there's any tips or little nuggets that you can take along the way over this time together, perfect. And that's my prayer. You're going to have opportunities to serve here on campus with me volunteering at our GCU City Serve. I know Brian Mueller talked about that a little bit. And then you're also going to have opportunities to give. We have a brand new initiative that started last year in my department called Day of Giving. And really, it's just an outpouring of who we are as believers, right? We give of our time, our talent, and our treasure. So just be aware of those things and check those things out. I just talked about all of that with the other slide, so we don't need to stay there. You guys, we have a brand new communication portal. So don't get this confused with your parent portal. This is brand new. It's basically, it's social media, it's a newsletter, it's an email, and it's an event sign up all in one. I love multitasking. This is like my favorite thing. So some of you might have already been introduced to this with Casey. She also had this for our incoming prospective parents. And if that's the case, you'll just roll right on over. But if you're not sure, just grab that link and make sure that you're signed up for that. The GCU LOPE Family Facebook page. Bye. We're going to be seeing you later. On the LOPE Family newsletter, I'll do 2 more months of those, but again, we're going to fully move into this platform. All right, you guys. So I'm doing this right along with you. And about 3 years ago, well, not about, it was, in 2019, we did this for the very first time. And I was really praying about what this was going to look like and what I was really going to say, because I don't know. And so it was right after a workout. I was getting ready for work, and I just was really praying and like, Lord, what can I say? That's just really the bottom line. And I feel like he really gave me these ABCs. So A, in parenting young adults, it's kind of like a yo-yo, right? It's like they want us close, then no, go away, and no. And so we always have to be ready. So the A, I want you to think about being available to your student, but not necessarily annoying. And I think moms, right? So here, what are you doing? Where are you? Did you eat dinner? Did you do your lunch? Did you shower? I don't think they're going to like that. I don't think they're going to necessarily want to text back. Versus, what if, hey, woke up this morning, I was thinking about you, you're on my heart, prayed for you, I know you have a test coming up, I'd love to, chat with you when you have time. That might get a better response than that first one. So that's your A. B, believe in your student. And sometimes we're tempted to belittle, right? Because we've been on the planet a long time. I've been on this planet for 50 years, so we've walked some miles that they haven't yet. So of course, they're going to make some mistakes, as we did as well. And so when they do call home and you're talking to them and they share with you perhaps about something, instead of the, why on earth would you have done that? Maybe instead it's, yeah, I can totally see why you would have done that. I'm just curious if you thought about, and then just ask those open-ended questions and allow them to critically think through so that next time, which there will be a next time, they might call you. Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. I'm doing this. What do you think? Can you just walk me through that process? So that's our B. And then finally, C. This one's really hard. This one's really hard for me because I like to control. I like to get things done. So instead of trying to control everything, just communicate through. And it really does tie to that B, right? This one was difficult for me with my son Ryan. I kind of mentioned the in and out of college, and COVID was not a good time for Ryan. He ended up pulling out in 2020. That was the beginning of his sophomore year here at GCU. And so we're like, okay, buddy, that blended classroom's not working. Let's just take a gap year, let's work, let's get some counseling. Ended up the next spring in a behavioral health hospital. We were just quite concerned, really, about his safety. And then ended up coming back last fall. But then, like I said, he pulled out again. So he's living at home with us. He's working, paying rent, doing all the things. But this little control freak, that was very difficult. Because you have that idea and that journey of what you want for your kid, and so we've had to have a lot of sit-down conversations and lots of discussions about what that's going to look like. So those are my ABCs for you. All right, you guys, I could not do what I do without these humans behind me. These are my parent council members from last year. My new crew this year, we haven't all been together yet to have a group photo, but I have 20 of them, and they're broken down into different committees. We meet monthly via Zoom. They're spread out across the United States regionally, so that each of you, wherever you are, you've got someone that you can connect with. So just look for them. Casey is on my parent council. I've known her since 2019. She was one of my Lope family group leaders from the get-go, but they help me a lot and get things done with me. You'll see them all here for family weekend. And if this is something that you're like, I would love to do that, applications are open every spring, and it's a 2-year term. So you're kind of stuck with me for 2 years. Finally, Family Weekend, just mentioned that. It's the second weekend of October. It's the first time in 3 years that we are going to be here on campus since COVID. Thanks, COVID. But come on back. It's a great time to be on campus. You can come back to campus anytime. So if this weekend just feels a little bit too soon for you, or you've got things going on, you can always come at a time that works best for you. But registration is still open, and we would love to have you back. We're going to bring back the 5K. We're going to have a soccer game and a tailgate on Friday night, and I'm super pumped about that. And then finally, this is my contact information. Please, please, please take a shot of that. I've already had a conversation with the mom this morning who was at the airport worried about her daughter. Talked her through it. I said, you know what? Everything that you're saying, normal. So that is one of the most favorite part of my jobs, is talking to you all. So I don't say things that I don't mean. So I really do mean it. If you just need to call and talk through and process, I would love to be that person on the other end of the line. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I've got someone coming up after me, Mr. Mike Caputo, and he's going to share with you about how your kids are going to be safe on this campus.
Hey, well, welcome and congratulations to you all is the thing I want to start out by saying. I like to kind of throw this in, the fact that I sat in your seats both 8 years ago and again 4 years ago. So I graduated one from here about 4 years ago, and I got another one that's going to be walking in December. So it's a large part of the reason I'm here. So with that said, I think it's important for you to know, because I understand what some of you first-timers are going through. I understand what some of you second-timers are going through, and I know the anxiety that many of you are feeling right now, and believe me, I was there. So with that said, how do we go about trying to make sure that this is the most safe environment that possibly can be for your students? I'm going to go in and cover, just in general terms, a little bit about how we cover it. You guys heard the president speak earlier, and he talked at length about some of the initiatives, his 5-point plan, and some of the things that are being done, especially around the neighborhood and the neighborhood safety initiative. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. One of the things that he probably didn't mention, and I think it's important, because the first thing you do is you drive the area and you say, where are we going? And then you get to the campus and you're like, okay, I get this now, and you go through the gates and you're seeing some of the security measures. So the neighborhood, when they started tracking this in 2012, they call it the Part 1 crimes, about how they do it, and we go about a half a mile to a mile out in all directions. Part 1 crimes were at this number, and where it's at now, it's actually decreased with what the president talked about, how we're bringing the neighborhood up with us. Crime has decreased 23% just in this little square that we're dealing with here. It's not perfect, and we're still working on it, but it is significantly better. Most of my police officers, about half of them, worked for Phoenix PD. They work these areas. They know what this is like. They see the difference. So that's something that, obviously we're aware of, and because of that, the university puts a significant amount of resources and budget into the campus safety. It's one of the reasons I came here about a year and a half ago after about 28 years doing other law enforcement jobs to include local policing, and then I retired here as the number 2 in charge of the FBI. So I came over here literally under, dealing with terrorist attacks and quadruple homicides on reservations and you name it, to come in here with the sole focus of just trying to make sure that we're keeping your kids safe. We do that. The physical security pieces are the easy part. You see it. You see the fences. You see the access points. You see the guards we have there. 200 is a number I want you to kind of remember. 200 is actually 209. That's the number of employees that we have on the public safety department. It's huge. It's actually larger than I had when I ran half of the FBI here in the state. So how does that look? I have 26 fully sworn police officers. GCU is the only private institution in the state of Arizona that's been authorized and started their own police department. All of our officers are certified and sworn to the same standards as every other police officer in the state. They have the same authorities as any other police officer in the state. 26 officers. I know a lot of you are from smaller rural areas and certainly some of the states. I did a lot of different tours around the country. In Oregon, a department the size of 26, which I did about 5 years in Portland, that would make us probably one of the top 10 sized departments in the entire state. We are larger than a lot of the suburb communities here that we serve around the city of Phoenix too. So with our full-time police force that we have here, we have a codified formal relationship with Phoenix PD. We're a good-sized department, but we're not big enough to handle anything major. So we actually have formal arrangements with Phoenix PD that if anything were to occur, Phoenix will come in and help us with any major incidents. They cover all of our teams that we would need to come in and do specialized investigations or anything like that. The point I want to make to that is even though I may have 5, 6 police officers on duty at any given time, I've got probably 20 or 30 that we have a formal relationship with that are at any given time are patrolling within a very short distance of this university. The guards that you see around campus are civilian guards. Any given time on a shift, we typically have about 20 to 25 of them that are on. Their jobs, you see them in the booths, you see them responding to calls for service, you see them doing door unlocks. Most of my counterparts in other universities across the country would love to have a guard force as big as we have, because the things they do and the things they're out doing for your students, it's taking some of the pressure off of my police officers. It keeps my police officers free. And that's my goal, is I want them free and I want them here. I want them just as a response and a deterrent present on campus. They handle any criminal matters that do come up. You can go pull the annual safety reports. Every university has to publish them every year. You'll see that our numbers are significantly lower than universities that have 5, 6 times the number of students that we do. So, that we have 5 or 6 times the number of students that they do. So our numbers are very low as far as any of that goes. We run a full-time 24/7 dispatch center that's available to your students at any given time. That's the number that you see at the bottom of there. They'll become very familiar with that, the 8100. It is there. They can call at any time for anything they need, even if they want to walk across campus, they want an escort. This is their one-stop shop for everything. All of our communication systems, we can communicate with Phoenix PD. We communicate among all of our security guards as well. We do also cover parking enforcement. Unfortunately, this time of the year, it seems like parents, when you guys are in for this week, you guys are some of my biggest problems, actually, but that's okay. we have a lot of grace this week. We're not ticketing, we're not doing any of that. Once the kids get settled in and we kind of get the rules and they understand, then if we have to, we try to do enforcement last, but we do it as needed. Do tell them, though, do not park in a handicap zone and do not park in a fire lane. Those are my personal pet peeves, and that's our priority. So other than that, we'll work through anything else. The fences, I talked about a little bit. The bodies you see around here, we have a very robust camera array around campus. It's very hard to get away with anything on here and not have one of our 300 plus cameras, and probably another, we're installing another 70 or so just this year alone. We kind of see a little bit of everything. We use license plate readers on this campus. A lot of universities are starting to go to that direction, but some of their universities don't want to commit the funding to that kind of stuff. So we can track every car that's coming in and off of campus. So we do put a high priority on how we do our public safety here. We try to deal with issues before they become a problem. And any of you, half of this time of year, typically I'll start getting, or after these talks, most of the people that I will get follow-up calls from are a lot of the police officers in the room. And you know, because I throw it out, I'll talk to anybody wants to talk to me about security, throw it out. You can call that 8100 number and set a meeting with me or whatever. I just had a meeting with a parent this morning. But you know, we can sit down and we can talk through any of these, and I can answer any questions that you have. But you know, the point I want to give you and the takeaway is the university puts a very high priority on keeping your kids safe. At the time, like I said, I was in charge of terrorism for the state here for many, many years, and I had to get a comfort level myself that I want to send my own kids here, and I was very, very pleased with what I've seen. The only other thing I will say in passing is be patient. The move-in thing, do you realize how hard it is to get 17,300 people moved in a little square that's about a half mile tall and about a mile wide, and we try to do that all within about 4 to 5 days. It is a huge undertaking, and I will tell you, 8 years ago when I did this, they tried to do it all in like 1 or 2 days. I forget what they did. It was a mess. So even though things think like it might be a little chaotic out there, it is 99% better than it used to be, and it's probably one of the smoothest that I've seen since I've been here as well. So hang in there with us, bear in, and the next thing we'll be doing is move out. So I'll see a lot of you back then, but just know that we have a very capable and a very robust force. The last number I'm going to leave you with is 600. 600 is the actual number of years that my police officers have combined with a very small department of about 20. They all came from other agencies. They're all retired from somewhere else. Many of them are just like me. They've got kids that go here. So they get it and they understand it and they got skin in the game too. So any questions I can answer, please let me know. Like I say, any follow-up, you can contact me at that number. And that's about, I can probably take about 2 hours and talk about security, and I had to tie it into about 7 or 8 minutes. So thank you guys very much. She gave me one job to introduce the next speaker, and so you're going to hear from Connie Colbert, who is the director over our Wellness Center.
Hi, hope everybody's doing well. I'm Connie Colbert. I'm the director of the Health and Wellness Center here on campus, so basically the Student Health Center. I've been here for 11 years, so this is my 12th school year going into, so I've seen a lot of changes. We used to be in a little tiny clinic over there where Fresh Fusion is in the Student Union, and now we've moved 3 times since then, so we've seen tons of changes. We are located now in Building 47, which is Big Papago Apartments, if you don't know the names of the buildings, or right across from Panda Express. So that's kind of where we are located there. There's an awning that says Health Services. I also have had 2 students go here. I've had one that has gone through undergrad, graduate, and works here, and another one that will be graduating in December. So not only have I been a part of this community, my children have as well. So really what we aim at the Health and Wellness Clinics is to provide the best health care that we can on campus for you, so your student doesn't necessarily have to leave while they're on campus. Obviously, we're not open on the weekends and late nights, so sometimes they do have to leave, but we try to provide the best care we can when we're here. We do have a very large staff of board-certified nurse practitioners and doctors. And we can provide care such as well checks, ill checks, you know, if they're sick, they need a strep test, or they need a mono test, or they need an x-ray. We can provide a lot of those. We also have established a relationship with a local hospital system, so we have a good referral system, and we can get students in very quickly, and even to their ER if need be. The really important thing a lot of people want to ask is about insurance and what do we take. We do take a multitude of insurances. Of course, there are some that we don't take, and if you do not have insurance, we still will see you. It is a $50 copay, but that covers everything in your visit, anything that we would do. The only thing that you would pay for in addition is if we had to prescribe some medications, which we do offer you to buy them there, or we will send a prescription to the pharmacy. What I do want to encourage each one of you to do, or encourage your student to do, is go to gcu.studenthealthportal.com. That's gcu.studenthealthportal.com, and this is our health portal. This will allow the student to go on, register, upload all their information, fill out all their forms. You can do also schedule appointments online. It's best if they do it before they need it, because then when they come, they're not going to have to fill out all that paperwork. But they can also schedule appointments online, as I said, and they can message a provider, they can send us a message, and it's all based on 2 single sign-ons, so they can use their GCU sign-in login and password to do that, so we're making it a lot easier this year. And I do encourage you, if you have any other questions about the services that we offer, come stop by. We're going to be there all week. We would love to meet with you and answer any questions and see what the needs of your student is. But that's about all I have. And next is Mike Wallace, and he comes from student care, so he'll be talking about the mental health aspect. Thank you.
First of all, I just want to welcome all the parents. It's an exciting time. As the previous speakers, I also had a son who graduated 2 years ago. So, GCU runs in my blood for lots of reasons. As Connie was talking about the physical part, I want to talk about the mental health and the services that we're going to have here for your students, guys. I've been here 6 years. I've been a licensed professional counselor for about 26, so I've been in the field for a while. I've done geriatrics, I've done adolescents, but I really love this population because young adults, 18 to 25, they're malleable on one end, they're not set in their ways, it's very workable, and the other aspect that I love about this job, we get a whole vast array of issues. And I want to, real quick, not to be somber here, but I want to give you some research. Generally with college students, the big 5 that we're dealing with is depression, anxiety, eating disorders, substance abuse, and suicidality. So we get a whole vast array, everywhere from I'm going to miss my boyfriend with adjustment issues, especially in the fall term, to suicidality. I just want you guys to realize 1 in 5 college students, not to bum you out, will contemplate suicide. 5% will actually consider it. Now, I'm only telling you to let you know that's why we're here. Building 26, we're here for the mental health issues. We've just started, we're growing. I was here 6 years ago, we had 6 therapists. Now we have 12. And we're running groups, and we're actually streamlining our services to serve all the students. Now, the most wonderful thing about this, guys, is it's free, okay? There is no insurance necessary. So if your son or daughter, if they're hurting, or if you're on, and they need maybe some kind of support wherever they're at, direct them to Building 26, okay? The other thing, too, is confidentiality is very important. If you have a minor, and they're 17 years of age, we need a release of privilege. And that just means you're going to have to sign off, otherwise we cannot do counseling because they're a minor. So you have to get a notary to sign them off so they can receive services. Guys, please take advantage of this. I'm really excited. I love this population. We're growing, we're streamlining, And because it's free, we do get a lot of students, but we're trying to streamline that to meet their needs. So we're starting workshops, we have online services, campus resources, we plug them in to whatever their needs are. I think the biggest thing, especially in the fall term, is you'll have a student that, you know, after all the hoopla and they're all excited about being here for the first 3 weeks, when that wears off, if it's their first time away from home, it's very hard for them. It can be, just depending on their temperament, those types of things. It breaks my heart when I've got a student here after 3 weeks, and because they're so homesick, they just want to drop out of school. I know in the long run they don't want to do that. I know you guys don't want that to happen either. So we try our best just to get them plugged in, just to get stabilized, because this is a hard adjustment. So please take advantage of this. I love working here. I love the population, and we have great co-workers that are working the program. All right? You guys take care, and next we have Sarah Burns with Residence Life. All right?
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah. I'm a manager in our Residence Life department. Residence Life consists of a lot of different staff members who all work every single day to ensure that your students have a really positive experience living on campus. The primary staff from our department that your students will interact with are the RAs and the RDs. RAs live on every single floor of every residence hall. There's usually 2 to 4 on every floor, and your students will meet them this year if they haven't already. The RAs are there to be a support system for your students. They host events every month. They check in with your students. They're at the lobby front desk every night playing games. And their goal is to help your students make friends, get connected to the community, and also just have someone to go to with any questions they might have about life on campus. The RDs are full-time staff. They live in apartments on campus in the buildings that they manage, but they are not students. They're the managers of the RAs. And they are also in office every weekday from 8 to 5 and are always available for your students to reach out to. So please encourage your students, if at any point they have issues with a facilities-related need, roommate conflict, any sort of issue in their living area, please encourage your students to reach out to their RA or their RD, because we have a solution to any issue that your student might be up against this year in their dorm or apartment. So just a few things to talk about as far as what our department oversees every year. We see your students on a daily basis because we operate in their living areas, and so we're really familiar with a lot of the common experiences that students go through. We talk a lot about the W of the first year, which stands for the high highs and the really low lows that freshmen have. I was a freshman here in 2014, and I called my mom almost every single day for like the first month. And when I moved in, there were at first a lot of high highs, like, Mom, can you believe it? I can have Chick-fil-A every single day here if I want, and I just swipe this card, and then they give it to me. It's amazing, and I'm meeting all these friends, and I joined a club, and they have a rock climbing wall. This is the best day of my entire life. And then I would literally call her the next morning and be like, some guy didn't show up for our date, and I failed my first test, and also it's Sunday, so I can't get Chick-fil-A. I hate it here. I want to come home. I'm so sad. Everything is awful. And so just know you're going to probably get some panicked phone calls this year. It's just part of being a freshman and adjusting to being away from home and adjusting to some of the growing pains of entering adult life. But it is very normal. So please don't panic, parents, when your students call saying that it's the worst day of their life, and know that we have resources for those days, 100%, and we are here to support your students. One of those resources is our community learning plan. We have a co-curricular education model, which means that we have monthly themes that have to do with different life skills that your student will need to develop as they go through college, just to be their best, most successful self after graduation. For instance, our theme in September is mental health awareness. And so in September, the RAs will be hosting events every other week that have to do with helping our students develop healthy coping skills, ways to manage their mental health during school. And they'll also be getting little gifts that have different information attached to them about all of the different mental health resources from student care available on campus. We'll also have some other events going on campus that have to do with mental health awareness. And every single month is a different theme of a different life skill that we would love for your students to develop. Another resource we have is our roommate conflict resolution process. Unfortunately, roommate conflict happens. It's a part of the college experience for a lot of students. We sincerely hope your student doesn't have roommate conflict and that they and their roommates are the best of friends. But unfortunately, college just means sometimes you have to share a really small living space with someone who lives very differently than you, and you have to learn how to manage that well. Our goal with our roommate conflict process is to help your students learn really good communication skills and really healthy professional conflict management, because that will serve them well now with their roommates, but it also will serve them well later in life when they're in the workplace and they have coworkers that they don't get along with, or a friend of a friend who's always hanging around that they just need to figure out how to get along with. Communication is key, managing conflict is key, and we want your students to feel like they have a safe environment where they are supported and cheered on while they practice those skills. We often have students come into our offices asking for a room switch the first time they experience conflict with their roommates. We don't really do room switches unless absolutely necessary, but the goal of the roommate conflict process is that the students would not need a room switch because they will find compromises to help them get along well with their roommates. And most students who go through our process do not end up needing a room switch because it's very successful. You guys may get a call on one of those low days and really panic and want to get a hold of an RD. We encourage you to reach out and contact our Office of Residence Life. The phone number is on GCU's website, but please understand that partially due to Ferpa laws and then partially because our mission is to encourage your students to be independent adults, we will never speak with you about the particulars of the issue your student is experiencing one-on-one. We will always ask to put you on a speakerphone call with your student. We're happy to schedule that call and have a staff member talk with you and your student at the same time. We just want your student to be present when we're discussing the specific details of their roommate conflict, a facilities issue, whatever the matter might be. But please know you can always call our office with questions. We're so happy to discuss with you and give you whatever information we can. Lastly, we also share our office space with the Department of Student Conduct. Our student conduct process exists not to punish students unnecessarily, but we have policies on campus that are in place to make sure that our campus is safe and a welcoming environment for all of our students. The majority of our students never go through our conduct process and follow all of the policies well, but when you're in college, sometimes you make a poor decision. It's okay, it happens. What we want you as parents to know is that our conduct process centers around helping your students to understand why we have the campus policies we have, and why we encourage them to make different choices in the future. So please know that it's a very purposeful and student-centric conduct process. And again, if you have any questions about that at any point in the year, you can always call our office for more info. So next I'm going to introduce Catherine and Gian, and they are going to come up and talk to you guys.
Hi guys, I'm Catherine and I'm a university admissions counselor. Our goal today in the next few minutes is for us to show you the difference between this kind of counselor and this kind of counselor. So, as a university admissions counselor, you have all had one. So you've got someone in your life that introduced you to GCU, you and your student, and that person's a very special person. You've gotten to know them, they've cared for you. We love our jobs because we get to introduce you to what we believe is the best next 4 years of your student's life. So that's my role as a university admissions counselor, is to find the students who are interested and to walk them through that process. So to kind of do a little audience participation, I'm going to kind of show you the difference, or maybe you're going to show me the difference. I want you to think about your university counselor, university admissions counselor that you've been working with and your students been working with. Get their name in your mind, and with a nice, loud voice on the count of 3, just yell out their name, okay? You ready? Does everybody have it? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you were right. You said the right name. That was great. I hope somebody said KMAG. Did anyone say KMAG? I go by KMAG. Got several students that I brought in here in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, so to give you an idea of the difference, you know my name. Why do you know our names? Because we have been that point of contact. I'm going to also show you kind of passing a baton over to our dear SSC, and he's going to introduce himself and share with you his role.
So as it states, my name is Gian. Obviously, you can tell a lot of you know your UACs. Now let's test the room and flip the table. How many of you guys know your SSC? On a count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
There you go.
Now,
so I'm going to just say that in 4 years, you're not going to know my name. You're going to know his name. And that's because he is going to be an amazing, he and all the people that are SSCs are going to be the people that are going to really serve you well.
fortunate for you guys, fortunate for your student, it all becomes a one-stop shop for them for the 4 years that they're here, maybe even faster. We as SSCs, we become their go-to point of contact for pretty much everything going forward. We mainly handle academic and finances, but if your student needs to know something about their scholarship, about whatever the case may be, dining dollars, come to us. We are that point of contact. There are things that we do not know, we're not trained on, but we are that person that can point you in the right direction. If you come to me, you come to our department and say, how many parking spots are available in the garage? I'm not gonna know that answer. So we'll point you in the right direction as the parking operations. They can tell you that information. But going forward, again, we are that main point of contact for you guys. But the thing that separates us mainly in our role is that, one, communication kind of will slow down. You guys have been able to communicate with your USA pretty often. You guys text them on the weekends, whatever the case may be, they're always there. Starting on Tuesday, when school officially starts, there's an information release form that goes active on your student's account. That kind of gives them the baton to take on the responsibility of their own life, their own education. So their information release form grants third-party access to, in this case, parents mainly. We can no longer, unfortunately, disclose any information on the account unless you, the parent, have been granted access and you have the password that's on that form. So we know we pay the bill, you know, you guys have questions, how your student's doing, all that sort of thing. You're more than welcome to contact us, but unless you have that password, we unfortunately cannot speak with you unless, you know, your student's on the line. We can three-way call, whatever the case may be, but unless that password is given to us, we kind of have to shut the call off right there and then.
Okay, Ferpa. You wanna do Ferpa? So there's one more thing that you need to know about, and that is Ferpa. So if you can see here that that's the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. It's a very important thing that all schools are going to put into effect so that your family and your student is safe and their information is safe. So lastly, I just want to say, if you can think of that UAC, that University Admissions Counselor that you yelled out their name, I can promise you it would be very, very much a gift to us if you would share our information with other friends and family and people in your world that you think would be a good fit for GCU, a referral. We would appreciate that very much, so that you could share the purple love. And next, we want to introduce.
If I can add one more thing.
Yeah.
Just so you guys can know who your SSC is, our contact information is available in your student's portal. So phone number, email, those are our two preferred methods of contact, just because we are open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. So if you email us on a Sunday, we'll get back to you Monday, and walk-ins are available as well.
Great. And you guys are going to hear from Merritt. She is the director of our Academic and Career Excellence programs.
Whew, made it without falling. Yes. How y'all doing? That's it? That's all you got? How you doing? Woo, there we go. Awesome. My name is Merritt Hahn. I'm the Director of Academic Support here at GCU in a department called Academic and Career Excellence, or ACE for short. You may have heard some acronyms along the way, so I'm just throwing another one at you. But I oversee academic support, which encompasses a few things. But before I dive into that, figured that out too. Okay, before I dive into that, I want you to close your eyes for a second. Yep, I'm doing it. Close your eyes for a second and think 3, maybe 4 years from now, you will be right back in this arena celebrating your graduate walking across the stage. Yes, that's got to feel so good, right? Okay, you can open your eyes again. Thank you for indulging me. I appreciate that. Now I'm going to ask you a question that Robin and I talk about often. So it's 3 to 4 years in the future. Is your kid moving back in? No! Okay, good. Did you already change out the room? Is it already a guest room or a craft room or a sports cave? Something? Don't tell him. I won't tell him. It's okay. So my job is to make sure that happens. So I oversee, like I said, a department, academic and career excellence. We're both. So if you remember nothing else about my department today, we are responsible for 3 things. We've got their back when they come in, we've got their back while they're here, and we've got their back while they're trying to go out into the real world. Okay, so we have first-year experience, FYE. We're helping them transition into university-level learning. It's different from high school. You might have a son or daughter who has never had to study a day in their life. Guess what? Now they're going to have to. And now that might be really frustrating or scary, but it's okay. It takes some transition time. So we have our first-year experience team to help them transition in and understand what it really looks like to be a college student. Then we've got academic support. They hit that Chem 113 class. They hit Math 154. They hit Bio 201, whatever it is, and it's hard. We've got academic support for them as well. So we have student workers who are leads, learning advocates, and they'll help those students in those courses. They've taken those courses and either earned an A or been recommended by faculty or both. And they'll sit down one-on-one or in small groups with those students to help make sure they feel prepared to submit that assignment or sit for that quiz or exam or submit that essay. And then we make sure that they are taking the steps they need to be prepared for their career. A lot of students don't want to think about the resume. They don't want to think about interviewing. They don't want to think about those things. But we will work with them, and we put it in their face a little bit. Like, you got to be thinking about these things. Do you want to move home? Now, some of them might. I don't know. But so we talked to them about, you've got to get started now. You've got to start thinking about the internships. You've got to get a student worker position, or at least start on that resume, get some volunteer experience, become an incredible student leader on campus, get that really incredible experience that will push you to the top of that applicant pool once you're getting ready to graduate. So we will help them look for internships, part-time jobs, full-time jobs. If they're planning on going to graduate school, we have pre-health grad coaching as well. So if they are trying to prepare that med school application or PA school or PT school or whatever it might be, we have specific advisors to help them with that as well. So we bring them in, we wrap our arms around them while we're here, and then we very lovingly kick them out and hopefully they're not coming back to you. Hopefully they're going on to their first career or into grad school. But if you have any questions at all, we're just ace@gcu.edu. I would also highly recommend following GCU ACE on Instagram. That's where we post a lot of our information about workshops and study sessions and career events and that sort of thing. So of course, we'd love for you to follow. We would also love for you to encourage your student to follow as well. But I really can't wait to see you back here in 3 to 4 years when you are celebrating that grad walking across the stage. With that, I will hand it back over to Charity, who is the master of all things welcome programs and has done such a phenomenal job this week and really for a lot of years. Thank you, Charity.
Thank you. Well, everyone, hopefully we have given you some confidence that your students are in really, really excellent hands and that we care really, really deeply about them and we care deeply about your confidence here at GCU that they're going to thrive and be successful. So we are going to take a very brief break. If you are a parent who dropped a high school student off at the high school sibling experience, you need to pick them up again. They will be in the same location where you dropped them off earlier. So up on the second level, all the way towards the back of the arena. So I'll give you all a few quick minutes to do that and then meet us right back here in just a minute for the parent panel, which Robin will be facilitating. Thank you.
You know you can call me if you need someone. I'll pick up the pieces if you come undone. Painting stars up on your ceiling 'cause you wish that you could find some feeling, yeah, yeah. You know you can call me if you need someone. you, I can't lie. Just pouring out admission, regardless of my objection. Oh, and it's not about my pride. I need you on
I just met Quincy's parents. Quincy is from Vermont. Yes, and I just met Quincy's parents, and they're amazing.
I just met the Stewarts. They're leading a Lope family group. What state, you guys? I didn't want to say the wrong M, because, you know, those of us that are on the West Coast, I'm just going to admit it, we're horrible at all your other states. It's just, maybe it's just me. Anyway, you guys, this is kind of the fun part, but like I said, I know we're pushing through the dinner hour. I purposely am not eating during this time, so I feel the same way as you, hungry. Last night, my husband, he got points. He had Chipotle waiting for me. Not counting on that tonight. But this is where we get real. You know, I got real a little bit, shared about my Ryan, but we're going to share some good. We're maybe going to share a little bit of maybe bad, and because hindsight's 20/20, right? And maybe a little bit of funny. Todd will bring that for sure, 100%. But we're going to get going, and hopefully you can, again, just glean something from our hindsight and as we share with you. So I'm going to have everyone introduce themselves. All right, K-Meg, you're first.
My name is Catherine Magnuson. I go by K-Mag. It's just what people call me. Not sure. It's a long story how it started, but my son, in my fourth, I have 4 children. My husband and I have 4, and our youngest is starting his senior year here, and this place has changed his life.
Hi, everyone. My name's Tyson Cantrell. I will be a senior this upcoming year. I'm double major in psychology, behavioral health, and then I'm studying in minor in Christian study as well. So I write essays in my free time, so.
Hey guys, my name is Camden Morosco. I am studying marketing and advertising this year. I'm actually really good friends with K-Mag's son, and so last year we did a lip sync competition on this stage, so that was a lot of fun.
And I'm George Graham, and I am a volunteer parent counsel for the Lope Family Life in Central Illinois.
And I'm Willow Graham. I am George's wife. And our daughter Maya is a senior here, a political science major, and we do have a freshman at U of A.
Hi, I'm Todd Forrest. I teach for the College of Theology, and I had 3 students that are 3 of my own kids have come through here, and they all make more money than I do. Am I allowed to say that out loud? Okay.
That's really good.
All right. Yeah, so that's a good thing. That's a good, for them, not me. But I write the devotions. There is a spiritual side to me also. I write the devotions for our parent prayer newsletters. I encourage you to get involved in the parent prayer groups. We have them scattered out throughout America, and they will be a time of enrichment, encouragement. Everybody's going to be going through the same things, and I encourage you to go and be a part of that.
Awesome. My daughter makes more money than I do, too. Yeah. She's like, Mom, I got a raise. I'm like, okay, you make more money than me. Way to go, sis. Yeah. Marketing, well, graphic design and advertising. Yeah. All right, so we're going to have you start. Share a little bit about, how your parents communicated with you from far away and what that was like.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm an out-of-state student from Tennessee, and I say I'm from Nashville, but I'm actually from a really small suburb, about 30, 45 minutes outside of Nashville. And so when I was looking at colleges, I graduated from a really small Christian high school. In my entire high school, there were less than 100 students. In my graduating class, there were less than 20 students. And so it was really common for my class and for a lot of the classes prior to either go within a 5-mile radius of where we all went to high school, or to go to one smaller Christian school that was just in the state. And so when I came to GCU and I started telling my parents how great it was and how many opportunities were here, my mom was always really supportive, which was awesome. And my dad was supportive of me, but he never voiced his opinion. He never said he wanted me to go there. He never said he didn't want me to go there. And then obviously I ended up coming here and had a really great experience, and they've all been really supportive. But something that's been really different, I think for both of them and unique for me as a student, is during my time from freshman year back in 2019 all the way till today, my mom texts me every single day, which is awesome. Always text me good morning, always text me good night. And I think that's been really helpful for me, living so far away from home, and it's been really great. It hasn't been annoying or anything like that. We sort of have conversations every weekend, or we try to have them every other weekend, and we just sort of talk about and catch up on what's going on in my life and her life, and sort of like everyone together as a family. We just sort of unpack everything together, but my dad does not text me, rarely ever. But he has different ways of showing how he loves me and cares for me and supports me. So they both have really different approaches to how they parent me in college. It's definitely different than if I were to go to a school that was 10 minutes from my house or 2 hours from my house. So yeah, they both have different approaches, but I appreciate them in different ways. My mom and I definitely don't text back and forth every single day, but it's her way of showing that she cares for me and she's thinking of me. And for me, that's really helpful and that's really nice. But yeah, so either one, whatever one you guys are looking to do for your child or your student, I know that they will appreciate it. And they appreciate the support probably more than you can imagine. I know I have a lot of conversations with my friends and my friends' parents, and they think that it's annoying to get so many text messages. But I've gained a lot of value from it, and I've found it to be really helpful.
Excellent. If your kids like it, go for it. But just, I want to know, was your mom like asking you questions about like how you did on your test, and if you did your laundry, and if you took a shower today? Or was it just kind of this sweet, hey, good morning, thinking of you, and then, oh, good night, son, I love you?
Yeah, no, it's always good morning, and then kind of throughout the day there are like these periodic questions like, did you have Subway for lunch? Or how was the event tonight? Like, oh, I saw on
I
GCU's
think that
Instagram.
you're kind of a weirdo.
Yeah.
That would absolutely annoy. I just literally got a text from my mom today. I said, look, see, even when you're 50 years old, your mom is still going to text you.
Yeah.
But that's lovely for you.
Yeah.
I
So
just
definitely throughout the day, but sometimes it varies.
Okay.
I'm going to be bold. I'm going to give you guys 3 words. Are you guys ready for my 3 words? All right. Cold, hard cash. All right. Here's the thing. Don't get into the Venmo world. Venmo is too new. It's too normal. It's too average for your kid. I have 2 older sons. They went to a small Christian college in Jackson, Tennessee. And one day I was missing them terribly. And I decided, okay, I'm going to be clever. So I took a $20 bill and I folded it so that all you could see was Jackson's face, President Jackson. And I would tape it down to a card, and I would say a little bubble like Jackson was talking, and I would say, put me in your gas tank, or take me to dinner, or something like that. Then I would kind of wrap it all up, and I would put it in like real mail, like snail mail, like they actually get mail. And they would open it, and they would call me or text me and say, Mom, I needed that 20 so bad. How did you know? I mean, it sounds a little bit silly, but just do crazy things for your kids that are going to take them by surprise. Like, just do something you wouldn't normally do. Like, send them some money. Like, don't Venmo. Everybody Venmos. Do something like cold, hard cash. I'm all about cold, hard cash.
Can you give me cold, hard cash?
Maybe.
Okay, thanks. So I know the Grahams had a kind of unique way that they stay connected with their students. You guys want to share about that?
Yeah, so I'll give a little background. With my job, I'm kind of all over the place all the time, and so is my husband. So we have our Google Calendar where we share. Both of us have shared our calendar, so we just kind of know where each other's at. We don't even have to tell each other. We just kind of know. Well, then when our kids started high school, or we're in high school, we're like, hey, you need to, put your schedule in the shared Google Calendar. And it's been great because they put it in, we don't have to nag on them. We know where they're at. And there's also that respect, like our daughter came here to college and I'm like, oh, she's somewhere, I'm not gonna text her or call her because I know she's busy right now. And there's that mutual respect. But so with that being said, she started here last year as a transfer student, and I'd pull up my calendar and I see her calendar and I would say, oh wow, she's at chapel right now, or she's doing to chapel, that's cool, and oh, she's doing a life group. And then I saw one time, 5:30, she's doing the homeless ministry. And I was like, oh, okay, she's getting up early, but that's really cool. And then I think she did refugee ministry, and those were her interests. And so what I totally appreciate about GCU is the Christian ministries that are here. And there are so many other just clubs and activities, so many things that your kids are interested in. But there's also the Christ-centered activities as well that I have really appreciated and that our daughter just kind of latched on to. So I was very thankful for that.
Yeah, and I'm the dad, and I looked in the calendar and it says I'm going to Love Camp. And I'm like, what is Love Camp? And she's like, we're leaving and we're going up north into the woods with 300 other college students. And I heard it's an amazing time. So very good. So I'd recommend that the kids go do that. So like I said, I'm a dad, and so this is a public service announcement for all you dads. Is you know how when you walk around on campus here and they're like, oh, sign up for this, and they want you to take the phone and do the QR code for that? Today, I thought I was signing up for a free golf tournament at the course over here, and I found out that it was like I got to go on stage and tell stories about my daughter. So I'm just saying, beware what you sign up for. So with that, since I signed up to tell a story, I will tell the story. So we're from Central Illinois, so it's a little less than 2,000 miles away. And so our daughter Maya, first one going to college, and so we're sending her off. And so any parent would have a little bit of anxiety about that. It wasn't too anxious because I'll jump into the promo that is real because we experienced it. So being from the Midwest, one of the things that I was extremely impressed with GCU was their marketing efforts to come in the middle of winter, either December, January, or February when it was 15 or negative 15 wind chill factor, and sit at these college fairs, and the GCU table would sit there with a very happy person and a little sign that would say, today in Phoenix, it's 85 degrees and sunny. And every single kid was lining up to go to that table to figure out what was going on. So that was real. That happened to us. And then in that whole process, then there was a discovery trip that our daughter took out here. And then after that, she was pretty much 100% sold. We went and did the other college visits and looked around, but in the back of her mind, she knew that she was coming here. So fast forward a little bit. We now get here, and 1 year ago, we're dropping off our daughter, and I'm sitting out there in the audience just like you, and listened to the parent orientation, walked around on campus, moved her in to her dorm room, and at the end of the week after I left, I was on top of the world. I thought this place was absolutely amazing, and when I got back home, all I could do was tell all of our friends that had like sophomores and juniors, I said, if you don't have it on your list, you got to put it on your list. And so that was how I was feeling, and I was excited as the parent, but I wanted to put it to a true test. And so then we came back in the spring for the parent-family weekend. And so during that time, I had some great one-on-one time with my daughter. We just went and got a coffee, and it was just her and I sitting there and just seeing if she had anything to share. And so then, being somebody who's been in marketing all my life, I wanted to kind of get a gauge of where she was at. So I said, hey, why don't you just tell me on a scale from 1 to 10, like from the first moment you thought about GCU till today, can you give us a rank, or can you give me a rank from 1 to 10, like where it's at on the scale? And I was prepared for her to give me a number, and then I wanted to challenge her why the number wasn't like 10, why it wasn't amazing. And she's like, oh, Dad, she's like, it's way past a 10. It totally exceeds any of my expectations that I ever had. So as a parent, to hear that, it just kind of solidifies it for me. And so then knowing that I needed to come up and give a story tonight, I had asked her, I said, hey, is there anything that you think I should share as a parent? And she's like, oh, the story about when it exceeded the expectations, you can tell them that it even now has exceeded it even more. And so that's our story and our experience with our daughter. So just wanted to share that all with you guys.
Thanks, George. But you should still go golf at the golf course. There's a lot of trees, from what I understand.
We got trees in the Midwest.
Yeah, okay, good. So my husband and I shared earlier, you know, we've been married a long time, and we are both very outgoing humans, and we spawned 3 introverts. We don't know how we did that, but literally all 3. And so when my daughter Sam came here as a freshman, I was super excited for all the things that she would get to experience, like, you know, the lip sync little competition and all those things. And working here on campus, you know, of course, I'm attending a lot of those things. And so I would text her and say, "Are you here?" And look around for her. And she would text back and say, "No, I'm just hanging out with a group of friends, like studying." Oh, okay. And then have to hold back and not, you know, say, "Well, you can come sit by me," you know. I wouldn't, but I think I did say, "Well, there's room, you know, like far away from other people." But my daughter, one thing that she acquired before her freshman year was a boyfriend. And we didn't really love this boyfriend, and we just were really hoping that he would be, you know, kind of one of those summer things, right? Like they met working at Chick-fil-A, and we're like, okay, great, you know. Well, the boyfriend, you guys, he wasn't a summer thing. He stuck around for her entire freshman year. Awesome. Love that for you. I hated every second of it. But she didn't know. Nope, she didn't know. And she would come home on the weekends because she has to see the Chick-fil-A summer fling that continued throughout the entire year. And every week I would just have to, Scott and I, she's going to learn from this, right? Yeah, okay, she's going to learn from this. So you guys, finally, the day finally came. It was, you know, freshman year's over. We've missed out on all of the freshman experience as she's living out in the Grove. And she gets up one day, and I'm on the couch, and she goes, "Mom, I'm gonna break up with so and so." And I said, "Oh, okay, okay. Do you want to talk about it?" "No, I'm just gonna go do it right now. I'm gonna do it in person." "Okay, well, I will be right here, you know, when you come back." So she leaves. Grab my phone. Yes, she's doing, yes, right now. She left. I know. So then she comes back in. "Well, you okay? I mean, you want to talk about it?" She really didn't, but we talked about it later. And you guys, she did learn a lot, you know, and that was one of those things where I really had to practice those, a lot of the B, because I wanted to really belittle her and go, "Can we just look at the checklist here of this young man?" I also wanted to do a lot of controlling and just say, "You can't date him." But guess what? That really would have taken away a lot of the things that she did learn, because we did talk about it. I'm mentioning Chipotle again. Clearly my family likes that joint. We went to Chipotle, and over our bowls, you know, talked about the why. And my daughter just, you know, she sees the best in everyone. And anyway, so if you have a summer fling that's hanging on, give me a call, and I'll be your support system. Do you want to share about your introvertness, professional essay writer?
Yeah, so talking in the same vein about Robin's 3 kids, I would say I'm also in that classified of introvert. This is very daunting to me and very nervous, if you can't tell. However, I would talk about my freshman year. It's a very different experience than Camden's. Camden went out and met everyone. Me and my roommates are very introverted. We stayed and we played video games. Like, that's what we did. And the preface, though, is we opened our living room door. We were listening to Bon Jovi and AC/DC, and 6 other introverts in the hall heard us. They saw us. We were playing Mario Kart, and they came in. They sat with us. We talked about life. We figured out everyone's schedule. And from that, I would say those are my best friends that I have gained and that I've lived with or next to since my freshman year. I would say 2 big things from that. One, your son and daughter's experience, even if they're an introvert or an extrovert, is going to look different, their college experience, different than any other student. There's not one way to do it. And the second point is it's the little things that matter, especially in college. The purpose and point of college is to figure out who you are, your story, develop those life skills. And when your son and daughter, you know that moment when there's that click when they call you and they're excited, they're happy. And moms in the rooms, like my mom, like teared up a little bit where she just knew that I was safe and happy, and that's all she wanted. And the second point is to all of this is, as a psych major, I got to learn like the human development, and this time period is very crucial, but you have to understand your kids want to make you proud. They want to show that everything you've taught them, everything, the life experiences that you've given them, they want to take that and they want to be that 2-year-old self where they're just saying, Mom, 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 over and over again and show you what they did. And they want to look back to you. And to Robin's point, yes, that might not look the best. It might be a mud pie. It might look whatever it is, but they want to see that support in your eyes. And they want to know that you're in their corner no matter what. And as an introvert, I will tell you, there were moments that it was daunting to go out. It was daunting for Camden and I to run. There's a lot of moments in life in college. And so the biggest point I can make to you from a student and an introvert is that they will call you in those moments where they don't know what to do. And they're going to look for that support. And that is what's going to get them through life, to always know that you guys are in their corner.
Okay, but I have to add something because I am an extrovert. So I'm going to tell you guys a story that's got a visual, okay? I want you to picture your child right now, and I want you to think of the wheel that's been steering their life. You've had your hands on it, pretty tight. Other people's hands have been on that wheel, but you've been helping them steer, and you should help them steer. It's really time to take your hands off the wheel, because if you don't, then they're not going to have anything to show you to be proud of, because you're still steering. So I want you to think about literally loosening the grip, okay? Sometimes that means that they're going to steer somewhere a little more dangerous than you're comfortable with. That's called a mistake, and that happens. I got a call the other day. My son said, Mom, I have good news and bad news. Which one do you want first? It's never a good thing to hear. I said, I'll take the bad news first. He goes, I spent the night at a friend's house and apartment and off campus, and I'm just dying at this point. Okay, that's a mother's nightmare just to start with that. Like, I don't know what happened. Just tell me quick. He goes, I went up to get my car from the parking garage at the top floor, and someone stole my car. And I'm like, okay, that's really bad. So what's good? And he goes, Mom, you are going to be so proud of me. Because you guys don't know Broder, but he's never been good with keeping track of his belongings, ever. Like, he's just not good at that. And my hands are well off that wheel. Are my hands off the wheel? My hands are off his wheel. I don't touch it. And I go, what's the good news? He goes, Mom, I did not have my backpack in the car. I have my computer. He was so happy. I'm like, well, really, the computer's more expensive than the car, so I think we're good. So anyway, my point is, guys, take that visual home with you. It's timed. It's so hard to loosen that grip, but let your kids steer a little bit off course if they have to, so that they can learn what off course feels like. And then just help them. You can verbally redirect them and say, okay, let's what choices could you make to kind of redirect towards your goal? And talk it through with words, but loosen the grip.
And I think, hopefully, after you spent all this time with us, you have met so many professional staff members here that have come up on the stage. You can see that we truly care for your students. And so if they veer a little bit, there's going to be staff in their buildings, in Building 26, all of Student Affairs that are going to be right there to be like, hey, what are you doing? And having worked in student conduct for 4 years, oftentimes students just needed someone to talk to, and I will say this again, if you call me and feel like your student might be veering or you're hearing things in that W, whether you're maybe a little bit in that bottom portion, I think every one of us on this stage, including those that have spoken, would be very open to meeting with your son or daughter and having coffee or lunch and just being available for them here in a space where perhaps you can't be in that moment. And we would definitely be honored to be in that spot for you. Hey, buddy, you want to share a little bit?
Tyson, did you say that you write your essays in your spare time?
I think he said he's a professional essay writer.
I did not say that at all.
But
I thought he used the word hobby.
I just want to go on record to say that the cavalier attitude that Tyson has towards essay writing does not reflect the faculty of GCU campus. And I think I'm going to make it my personal goal that this semester is not safe nor happy for you this semester. Should I keep going? You know what? We love having your students here. We really do. I've taught here 12 years, and I want to let you know as a father, in a father's perspective, that your student is in good hands, and God has a special purpose for each one of them, and we're going to take good care of them, as Robin has been showing you. We're going to do everything we can for them to point them to Christ, to prepare them vocationally, and they're just in good hands. It's going to be okay. I want to talk just for a minute about you. If you are a single parent and you have been focusing all your time on getting your teenager through high school and here today, I just want to say thank you. You've worked hard, and I respect you so much, and I just really appreciate your time and your investment. And whether you're married or whether you're single and you're dropping your young person off today, you're going to go home to a place that is probably a lot quieter. And you are going to have an opportunity to, for husbands and wives, you're going to have to get to know each other in a different way because not everything is focused on just getting the kid here and getting them through into college. So you're going to be able to invest in a different way. You never stop being a parent. That's always a mission in life, but you have a little more bandwidth to be able to take on a new mission in life. If you're a single person, your home's going to seem a little quiet, but that's okay. God has a new mission and a new plan for you also. I encourage you to connect with other parents in the parent prayer group and have some fun just talking about this new chapter in your life, not just in your young person's life also, because those are good days. You got great days ahead of you. And it's a pleasure to be able to be a parent here with you, because you've worked hard, and we appreciate the caliber of students that we have coming to GCU. With the exception of Tyson, I really believe that we have a great student body. So, mind if I pray for you? And please be praying for Tyson, because I'm out to get him now. But let's just close this time off in prayer if we could. Lord Jesus, I thank you that you are in control of our lives. Lord, you've brought our families to this place. And I thank you for orchestrating so many different circumstances to bring people here, to bring young people here, to have their lives transformed and prepared to follow their calling as they serve you. I pray for safe travels to all our parents as they return home, that you'd be with them in these next few days and weeks as they are making transitions in their own lives, as their kids are making transitions into adulthood here at GCU. Lord, we do all this for your glory and honor. I thank you for this university and what it means to our families that we can have a place to explore more about you as you are guiding and directing our lives. And we pray these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Lope families. We had so much fun with you tonight. I just want to thank you again for raising such phenomenal students. We have an amazing community here at GCU, and we know it's because of the families that they came from. So thank you so much. Safe travels home. See you soon.